What's up guys, and welcome to another episode of Drive to Thrive. In today's video, we'll be taking a look at QuantumScape. Now, it's been a few months since I did any kind of update on this company, and I think it is a good time to sit down, take a look at these charts, because we are starting to approach those attractive levels. Now, before we get started guys, I just want you to understand that currently in the market as a whole, we are in this bear market, which means not a lot of investors are looking for these kind of growth stocks. They're more or less looking for a value stock, which means everybody is staying away from money-losing companies, and QuantumScape is definitely a money-losing company. So just keep that in the back of your mind that we could be down in these low teens for another 3, 4, 5, who knows, maybe even 6 months here. So just keep that in mind when it comes to investing, and patience is always key. But if you do think this is a good value at this price point, then you shouldn't be contemplating. You should try to buy a few shares, and just see where this company goes, especially if you have that long-term outlook. Now, without further ado guys, let's go over to these charts and see what they are suggesting. Alright, so looking at our daily chart here of QuantumScape, we can see that we're still in this bearish movement right now. We're still in this bearish momentum since about that March of 2021, where we peaked around that $64, $65. Now, after we consolidated, we had another nice spike here back in November of 2021, but since then, it's just been nothing but going down. Now, in that video, I suggested that once we start seeing that crossover on the MACD on our weekly chart, that this could signal more pain ahead. Now, as a gamble, I did buy 3 contracts on the call. Now, those turned out to be a complete fail. They did go out of the money, which means I lost about $300, but that is okay because I expected that to be more of a gamble kind of trade. So let's go back to this daily chart and zoom in. So right now, if you guys can see, we're down around that $15 to $14 area here, and we're approaching this green zone. This is where I think QuantumScape is a nice buy opportunity, especially for those of you who see the long-term potential with this company and with the way they're trying to develop their solid-state battery, which would be revolutionary for the EV industry. Now, nothing says that this can just be hoax and this is just a failed company where they're just putting out these news, but as of right now, they do have some solid investors behind them, and I do think that they do have that possibility of hitting $40 to $60 in the next year or two. So as a long-term investor, and again, this isn't any kind of financial advice, you should be looking to start buying a little bit of shares around this area and just dollar cost average, especially if you got in sometimes around that $60 price target or even $40 price target. So try to dollar cost average and look for that long-term growth, like 3 to 5 years. If you are a short-term investor, then maybe you're looking to play this spike, somewhere around to $20, then possibly this $24, because we do have that 200-day moving average just around here. So that would be like a nice short-term kind of investment if that's what you're looking for. So like I mentioned, we do have this bearish channel right now. What we can kind of see, again, we kind of rotated off of here, consolidated down in the bottom, rotated off the top. Now we're down at the bottom here. The next possible area would be that we start coming up to this $36 to $37 area, but again, that could take a few months for us to get there. So looking at the MACD, we are in this bearish momentum currently. However, our fast moving average here is sitting on top of the slow moving average and possibly looking to separate further. Again, we'll see what happens once we get over to the zero line here. Do we just end up kind of losing that momentum and selling off even further down into that $11 mark here, or if we actually start getting some volume, maybe some hype here and getting a nice move up. Now our stochastic is sitting in this overbought territory, so again, look for this to come back down in the next week or two, and let's see where we settle. Again, maybe we just find that support around that $14 and this will be the bottom. So on our weekly, if I zoom in a little bit here, we are still in the bearish momentum. We did have that crossover to the downside, which signaled more selling, and our stochastic here is rotating off of that oversold and looking to get into this overbought area with lots of room above us. Now let's take a look at what the market analysts are saying. So currently we do have a hold rating on the stock. Only about 4 analysts analysts rating this company. So once we get a little bit more exposure, once they get some news rolling in that this technology is actually progressing, then maybe we'll get more analysts covering this. But for now, only 4 of these guys, and their price target is about $31 as of March 13th. Now let's go over and let's see what the insiders have been doing. So mostly lots of selling by insiders happening right now, about 13 million. If we move down, as recent as March 9th, this individual has sold about 46,000 shares, which is the CFO. Then we got the CTO selling here on February 23rd. So again, lots of these directors, CFOs and CTOs, selling. So that's not a good sign in the short term. Now let's see what the institutions are doing. So institutions overall are actually buying more, about 1.29 billion versus 680. So about twice as much buying happening. And in Q4, these guys bought about 291 million worth and sold about 37. Now let's go down here and let's sort this out by ownership in the company. So the highest ownership currently is by BlackRock Inc., and they're sitting at about 2.1%. Our second largest holder is this, I'm probably gonna butcher the name, but Maria Asset Global Investment Co. And these guys are sitting at about 1.1%. And both of these guys have actually added to their position, one on February 23rd and the other guys on February 8th. And then State Street Corp, these guys have also added on February 14th. Now looking at some of the sellers here, so some of the noticeable guys are probably in this 21%, which is by Invesco, that was on February 14th, and then 36% by Inherent Group LP, which was on February 14th. So overall, we do have more buying by institutions than selling, and that just could be because we are down these low prices. So these guys are getting a huge discount, by buying at $14 to $15 currently. If we go to the short interest ratio here, so we're sitting at about 19.3% of short flow, and that is as of February 28th, 2022. If we go down here, so about 41.6 million shares shorted, so that is quite high here. And now let's take a look at some of these options here. So as always guys, I do like buying options, and the kind of option buying I'm doing right now is a really long term, so like 12 months to 24 months ahead. Now because QuantumScape is a kind of company that's still growing, still kind of trying to find its footing, I do prefer going out 2 years, which is a maximum term that I can go currently, where I'm looking at these January 19th, 2024 contracts. So the 2 strikes that kind of appeal to me, from a risk to reward, and the price point is this $25 strike and the $22.50. So if we buy the $22.50, your break even at the current price of $5.20 is about $27.50, and on these $25 strikes, you're looking for a break even of $29.80. So if we go back to our chart here, you can see that at 27.50 to let's say 29 would put us somewhere in this area right here. So around this, let's just call it $30, which I do think is a realistic target here in the next 2 years. So that is why I like those 2 strikes. Now, if we go back here again, let's say we're looking to invest about $1,000, and I'll do it on this $25 strike. So let's buy 2 contracts, which would be a total price of $960. And what we're kind of looking to make is anywhere between, if you guys can see this box right there, which has the March 13th, February 14th of 2023, and then January 19th of 2024. So if we get around that $30 mark by February 14th, 2023, you're looking to make about $1,370 on the trade. So you're practically doubling your current investment, and then you have almost a year for that to happen. So giving yourself lots of time with a good return of 100%. So that is kind of why I like this $25 strike. Now, if we go down into this $22.50, let's say we just buy 2 calls again, we're looking to invest about $1,040. And for this, if the price gets to $27, which is less than the $30, you're looking to make about $1,000 on February 14th. So again, you get a little bit better returns on that investment, and that's why it's important to buy better strikes. So that is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to smash that like button. If you want to show your support even more, consider subscribing, and I'll make sure to put out some more content as we go along. Now, if you have kind of suggestions, I'd love to hear from you guys, so let me know in the comments below what kind of stocks you'd like me to talk about. What is your take on QuantumScape? Are you looking to get into QuantumScape, or are you just staying away from all these growth stocks right now and just looking for those value stocks? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you guys, but otherwise, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll see you next time.